Up to the studio, and we would like to continue reflecting on the buyout of Umeme by government. It must be understood quite clearly that we must buy out Umeme because a group of men and women who are entrusted with negotiating government's case in this contract decided to agree to one fundamental aspect of that agreement, that Umeme was not going to make losses. That is what we deduct. Whatever it takes, we were supposed to pay Umeme for every loss, be it 1% that it makes. Those are some of the issues that makes me think if we were in the olden times, we should hang all those guys who negotiated on behalf of Uganda in that Umeme deal.
Indeed. Of course, this all stems from the fact that one day the president woke up and said, Umeme must go. And so the responsible parties there, especially under the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, then had to respond positively to the president's order. Umeme has been here for 20 years and a few days counting to the end of its existence here by the 31st of March 2025. Money upon which the parliament last week okayed the Ministry of Finance's request to borrow the 700 billion shillings as the amount of money needed to buy out the March 2025. Now, that was okayed by a parliament. The question is, will that money then move in time from the Ministry of Finance pockets into the pockets of Umeme and be verified and receipted by the 31st of March 2025 is another thing that we want to understand. The other thing that we also want to understand is that what are the losses that Umeme is having, to be compensated for because of this arrangement. And as of 1st April, you do have the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited that will be taking over. Is there going to be a transition period, or is it going to just be Umeme closed on the 31st and UECDL running on the 1st of April, which is Fool's Day? So who is being fooled? Anyway, Stephen Mbidde is on ground having a discussion with the gentleman, PRO officer with Umeme, and we just want to understand what this buyout means on the side of Umeme and what are the realities on ground that they are facing between now and the 31st of March 2025. Good morning to you, Stephen.
Priscilla, some people throughout the night they didn't have power. I'm talking about areas like Chanja, Najera, Ntinda, Gayaza, Akasangati, Nansana, Wakiso, but also some parts of Kampala. And some were concerned that could this be because of the heavy rain that we had with strong winds, or it's because the time is clocking now for Umeme to exit Uganda. This is the power distribution, and these are some of the questions I'm going to be putting to Peter Hillary Kaujju. He's the head of communication and corporate affairs at Umeme Uganda Limited. You are not in office, not because you are out already, but because we are here. That is one of your substations. Good morning to you, Peter.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here on NTV this morning.
All right.
Yes.
For some people who didn't have power last night and they are concerned, they've heard about Umeme exiting their premises, exiting Uganda. Yeah. They think now you're already out of action and they are getting ready for a load shedding that will be none like ever before.
No, we should be very optimistic. I mean, we have been here for the last 20 years and we have been working hand in hand with key partners as, again, partners in development with government of Uganda. It's been a very interesting journey, having started way back in 2005 when we had only 250,000 customers on the network. If you can say 250,000 people or Ugandans that only had power at that time. But right now, we've worked again with quite a number of people to ensure that as of 2025, we have 2.3 million customers on the national grid. So we have expanded the network over time from about 20,000 kilometers to over 70,000 kilometers of electricity network in Uganda. We have powered schools, we have powered health, we have powered enterprise, we have powered industrialization. So people shouldn't be optimistic. And it is not true that Umeme is actually exiting the market. What is happening, Umeme is a registered company here, but all that is going to happen as per the concession agreements. This was a project for 20 years, and these 20 years end this month on the 31st of March 2025. So we will only be passing back, or what we have called retransferring back the assets, the distribution assets to government of Uganda, because these belong to the government of Uganda, and we have worked with government of Uganda. But as any project can be, it has a beginning and an end. So we are not exiting, or the company is not exiting, but we are transferring back what belongs to government, and then other plans shall come in.
You know, Peter, you're exiting after 20 years.
Yes.
3.2 million people out of the over 45 million people, million Ugandans. I'm talking about 2.3.
Yes.
But in 20 years,
yes,
there are so many people who have applied for power. Up to now, they haven't gotten connected.
Yes.
And when you see you transferring or exiting, because we know you're exiting as Umeme, even though you say you are transferring.
Yes.
But they know they've applied for power, they've paid for connection, they've paid for surveillance, they haven't been visited, they haven't gotten connection. And they feel that this is a disservice from your side as Umeme.
When you look at when we got the first dam as Uganda in 1954, from 1954 to 2005, when Umeme started, you only had a few people connected, 250,000. But now, within just
leave alone that number. You've already given me that number.
That number is very critical.
Yes, but I'm also talking about these ones who applied for power, electricity connection for months now. They haven't been connected, and they're seeing you. The people they gave their money for connection. You are exiting. You are transferring your obligation without them getting power. So can you give them assurance that the money they gave you as Umeme, the UEDCL will be able to connect them without paying more charges?
Yes. Okay. Mbidde, I mean, electricity connections are a function of so many things. There are people who have paid or who pay for themselves, what we call customer-funded connections, and then there are others who are on what government has given in. Because right now, we're actually running free connections under the Scale Up project, which is funded by World Bank. So whoever paid their money to get a connection and you're not connected, just to give you as a matter of emphasis, in 2004 alone, last year, we connected over 200,000 people, new connections. And so there are those that have been, even now, there are people who are actually applying for power. So we are not saying your money is lost. Please be confident. I'm saying we've been working on behalf of government of Uganda, and what is happening, the retransfer is actually going to government of Uganda through UEDCL. So those people have no reason to worry. They will be connected. I know that a number of them who have applied for government connections, they've been paying about 41,000. But also for those that are paying express connections, we are actually still connecting. We are here and we are committed to working up the very last. Yes, we will be handing over on the 31st of March 2025. So we are here as per the concession agreements. If we stopped to do what is required of us now, pay you. Yeah, we have no worry about the payment, because this is taken care of. It is well stipulated in the concession agreements, and I know I'm privy to the discussions that are going on, that all these payments are being processed. So we're not worried about that. But just to alert people and to remind them that there is no reason for them to get worried. They will always be passed on to UEDCL. Still
with the payments, I know that people have been paying for electricity consumed.
Yes.
So leave alone those who have been absconding from payment.
Yes.
But I'm talking about those illegal connections, leave alone those ones. But I'm talking about those who have been legally connected. Yes. They've been paying, and sometimes they have load shedding unexplained from Umeme. Yes. But also, when they hear that Umeme is going to walk away with almost 700 billion shillings on top of the money they've been paying you, they feel that Umeme is either cheating Ugandans or it's really outrageous for you to be giving them a service that they've not been satisfied with, but also walking away with that lots of sums of money. This is so outrageous for them.
Okay, and I'm happy that you have raised that very important point. What happens, the model that we have been running here in Uganda over the last 20 years is that at the time Umeme came in, the network was thirsty for investment. Government needed to bring in money to invest into the network. That money was not available. because of so many other competing needs for government. So they had to source for private sector. Umeme's money is from the private sector. You have to look for Mbidde's money, you look for Onyango's money, and then put it together, invest in the network, then recover that money when somebody is consuming. And that is why we say that money is actually recovered from the tariff. So all the money that Umeme has brought in, Umeme has invested over $800 million since we started. So there is money that has been recovered, but also there is money that is not yet recovered. You have to recover that money and pay whoever has given you that money. This money comes from banks, it comes from different associations. So it is not that all the money that we have recovered covers what has been invested. So what they call the buyout amount is the money at the point of exit, as per the agreements, that is not yet in the bags of Umeme, is money that government has to pay back the assets that are already on the distribution network. So they will verify, and that is the work which is going on by the Auditor General of Uganda. So once they ascertain that this is the money that has not yet been paid by government of Uganda, that money has to be paid. It didn't fall out of heaven. It came from other sources, and it has to be paid back.
You know, as Peter, you as Umeme, as you exit, you've put up investments like these ones where we are at Lugogo substation. I know there's huge investment. As you transfer the baton to Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, which is supposed even to be doing the work they've been doing legally, constitutionally, what is the challenge ahead of them? Because they should know from where you stand, what you've been facing could even be a bigger task compared to what you've been facing. Because we know how government institutions work anyway, because they have either little funding or little work on the ground. What is the task ahead from your side as Umeme?
Looking at the sector where we are, I would say that we have made great achievement. We've made great progress as Uganda, looking at the numbers that we have, but also there is a lot of growth. Almost every corner you go to, if you start your journey from Kampala, you go to the east, you go to the west, you go to north, you see buildings cropping up. It means we are growing with the economy, and it means electricity demand also has to keep pace. And so I am happy that the progress that has been registered can only work as a springboard to look into the future in terms of catering for the electricity demands and needs of the country. You don't want to sit back and then follow the route of South Africa, where they held, their hands, they folded their hands before they knew demand had outpaced, a supply, and they plunged into terrible load shedding and blackouts. But I'm happy that the progress we have is very visible, and we can build on that.
Because of time, let's point at the challenges ahead of UEDCL, because you know by now, looking at your capacity, looking at the capacity of government, you know for sure as Umeme, you should be knowing what Ugandans should expect, or what the task ahead, the heavy burden the UEDCL is going to carry from you.
Mbidde, I think we have done our part as Umeme, and we are available. We are actually continuing to work. This transition journey has actually been embraced by all of us. We are working hand in hand with UEDCL, we are working with the Ministry of Energy, we are working with ERA. So the point I'm trying to make is that I am not able to actually speak on behalf of UEDCL, but I surely know that where we are, the future is bright, and we just have to set our priorities.
I'll save you that burden of explaining, because I know as Umeme management, I know from the circles, energy circles, I've seen some critics, even Uganda Electricity ERA. I have already spoken out that Uganda, we may not be ready to go into this phase, but I know that could be a discussion for another day. But let's also talk about the issues of the staff of Umeme. I know for sure you have over 320,000.
3,200.
3,200. Yes. Now, these ones who are directly employed by you, but there are also the others who have been supplying you either stationally. Maybe some of them have not yet been paid. And they hear that Umeme is exiting. These people who have been supplying you, we don't want to say case of UEB, which is still, even up to now, staff of UEB are still in court asking for their money. Can you assure the staff, first of all, about the jobs, security, but also salaries, their payment, if you even have arrears, but also these suppliers or contractors that you have been having as Umeme?
Mbidde, we are a listed company. both on the Uganda Securities Exchange and the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So we are high on corporate governance. Our structures are very, very visible and highly set, and we've worked very openly and transparently with our people. Like I told you, the concession runs as a project, and we knew that this project had the beginning and the end. So we have our staff. The good news is that a number of them are actually running through interviews. Government has indicated that they indicated earlier that they would want to absorb as many people as possible. So this process is ongoing. I know that they may not take on everybody.
Many is not all.
They may not. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. They may not take everybody, and those that will go, of course, the network is here, and it needs to be run by skilled people. We are the people that have the skills. So some actually will go, but for those that will not go, it's not the end of the world. But the other thing is that we also have worked with quite a number of people. We have suppliers, we have contractors, we have all that. Like any business that is operating on a going concern status, you plan your income and you plan your expenses. So we are actually in charge of our obligations and liabilities. So our suppliers are in touch with us. We are paying them off. We don't intend to leave without paying anybody. But the other thing I wanted to emphasize that you had asked earlier, I am saying that the gains that have been registered in the sector, are good enough for us as Ugandans. This is home. I'm actually before I'm an employee of Umeme, I'm a customer of this electricity. So I think that we can actually build on what we have, to propel the sector to the next level. Because as I indicated to you, we are growing almost, electricity demand is growing almost at 12%. And so it means we have to put a lot of investment in this so that we are not losing what has been put in the bag.
All right, thank you, Peter Hillary Kaujju. But lastly, I've visited your offices in Nankulabye, in Entebbe, in so many places I've been to. But I've seen complaints boxes, and so I've seen them being filled. For the people who have complaints about Umeme, what last word do you have for them? Because this is the last time I'm going to be speaking to you as the head of communication and public affairs for Umeme. What is your word for those ones who are complaining about Umeme, the service, the load shedding, the other issues about Umeme?
Why are you in a hurry to say bye to me? I'm actually in this market. I'm not going away as Peter. I'm Ugandan. But anyway.
I'm saying because, you have 5 days, literally, working days.
Yeah, we should be closing on 31st. We want to, first of all, just thank everybody that we have worked with, our partners, and then our customers. Please do not stop to communicate to us or to let us know when you have a service challenge. I know where we started. You said quite a number of areas could have woken up in a blackout because we had a storm, but we've been working 24 hours a day to ensure that restoration is actually happening. So if you have any queries, please do not hesitate to contact any of our service centers, whether it is connections, whether it is power going off, for what we will not have delivered by the 31st of March 2025. Our successors, the person we are handing over the baton to, will be able to take care of it because we have all the records if you paid for power. We have all the records if we have any liability on your part. And
very last one is, one as a consumer of power, myself, I've been using my line, *185 hash, and then 4. Yes. It brings you Umeme. Yes. Now, won't we have challenges come Monday? Just briefly.
Yeah, all these platforms have actually been set off and have been set up, and even our counterparts on the other side where we are handing over, they are actually on these platforms. So whichever service that we have been offering, all the service centers that we operate as Umeme are actually reverting to those people. All the key people who should be serving you will wake up on the 1st of April. Despite it being Fool's Day, we are not fooling anybody. You'll be able to be served the other side. And it has been a very interesting journey, and we want to thank you for all the support, including you, NTV.
Thank you so much, Peter Hillary Kaujju, the head of communications and public relations. I should say, away from your corporate duty, you someone have been depending on for so many other issues, personal and of course corporate affairs. We have been running to you as Umeme, and we hope that when you go to another corporation, you'll be as accessible as you've been to Umeme. Thank you so much. On my own behalf, as Stephen Mbidde, Galwangronda here on the camera, and the entire crew, that is Chris Igenyi, Priscilla Regina Naroga, Waswa Geoffrey, Dan Sebachiji, and the entire social media team, that is Brenda and the production crew. Thank you so much for being a part of Morning at NTV. We shall be seeing you